Everyone's saying AI can hack for you, so I put it to the test. Same target, two different AI tools. Burp AI, Claude over MCP. One burned through my tokens, another one was blocked by its safety filters. Let's see what actually happened. And Burp's AI has been for a while, but it actually works in a different way. And in order to start using it, previously you didn't need to have any credits at all. However, nowadays, first of all, you need credits. In order to buy those credits, you have to have a license. So you need to buy a license. Only having a valid license can allow you to buy credits. And those credits simply mean how many requests you can make to the AI. Let's see how that is useful. So in order to start using Burp AI, after of course you have some credits, you simply need to go to the proxy or any tab where your target is visible, and then you have to click on it and then send it to repeater. In repeater, everything's going to be simple because there is a huge button, Burp AI, and when you click on it, you will see some dialogue where you can actually ask something, and that question will be a sequence of actions that the Burp AI will perform for you. For instance, I asked it to check the path and enumerate some folders, and also visit the page to passively crawl and get some other pages that are available. And what I like about the AI, the Burp AI, is that it shows you the sequence of actions in pretty logical way. If you have any experience with the Portuguese Web Academy, you probably will understand what I'm talking about, because everything that is Burp AI is performing looks completely the same like they teach you in the Portuguese Web Academy. So it will go through the enumeration steps with some crawling and will highlight some interesting places. And the cool thing about it, it can actually show you the exact folders that were enumerated, and then you can send them to the repeater tab or whatever you want them to be. And it actually works pretty automatic. So you don't really need to be a supervisor for some of it, but when the actual completion nears to an end, you probably will need to be there, because in my case, I experienced a lot of AI connection errors, even though my network connection was okay. And then I simply decided to go and check every interesting page, in my opinion, send it to the Burp AI so it can make some work. It worked completely different than I actually expected. For some reason, I made like 3 repeater tabs and put the same kind of request for all of them. But the thing is, it started working in a different way, and it started cross-checking everything. I put the tab for the forgot username and forgot password, and some of the checks were pretty much the same for both of them. So forgot password tab started checking the forgot username. So with that, they actually were burning some tokens without me even realizing that forgot username tab supposed to do just the forgot username logically, right? But then I started playing around with the forgot password, and vice versa with a different tab, which burned a lot of tokens and literally performed the same sequential jobs. But what I really liked about the Burp AI's approach is that it gives you the clarity what's going on with every step, and it shows you log of all actions performed, a pretty logical explanation. So for instance, you don't really know anything about the cybersecurity, or maybe you're just learning. This is actually pretty good for learning, because you can follow every step and see what's going on and the reasoning why this technique was used and that one was not used, and how Burp AI did find the vulnerability itself. And then at the end, it actually showed the payload and started enumerating through the vulnerability, started enumerating the database's administrator's password, which is pretty cool. And I don't think that you can do kind of the same with Claude AI, unless you go and use some third-party tool. So what's about Claude then? First of all, in order to make Claude work, you need to install the MCP server to the Claude, and I have a video about it. You can check this video before proceeding to the next section. After successful installation, it's pretty much the same like you were talking to the agent, the chat. So you can ask some questions, but in order to ask some questions, first you need to go and crawl some pages, visit some pages that you want to be in the proxy history, and only in that case, Claude can actually see and interact with all of those proxy activities, proxy history items, and then make requests through the repeater, intruder, and things like that. And I started playing with it by just asking some simple questions, proceeding with enumeration. And I did literally the same. I asked for enumerating some folders and paths, and then after that, finding some vulnerabilities. And the good thing about Claude, it will show you everything in more summarized way. So for enumeration purposes, I like it more than anything else. I think it burned less tokens than the Burp AI. And you can also see the sequence of actions, but those are not so informative in my opinion. You only see some results or some thinking about different approaches, but not exactly the way it works. So in order to see the actual request or kind of understand the logic, what AI is doing, you have to go to the logger and see actual request in the logs. And with Claude AI, I think one of the things that I noticed that you have sometimes, it will just say that nothing was found, and you have to go and ask it to perform some additional checks. And only with those additional checks, Claude will make some interesting findings and actually will perform better. So again, it means that you have to prepare some prompting techniques to make it work for you and not you working for it. And this is pretty new, but I don't know if you encountered any of it, but I faced a significant problem during testing. So because of the fable and some national security concerns, I think all of us will face the new thing, which is the safeguards, and those safeguards are working even for Claude Opus. So it's not even Fable, it's Opus. And it gives you the safeguard that says that you need to proceed with cyber verification, something, or you need to go down to the Claude High Code. And if you know Claude High Code, you understand that it's not that good. And it will burn you more tokens, maybe even you'll spend more time playing around with it without substantial results. So just for you to aware and be prepared for that. So yeah, as I said, Claude Haiku is not really a good one, and it prepared for me some reports, some nonsense, and I have to continuously play with it in order to make it work. I have to send some additional prompts, I have to go and ask it to go deeper and perform some additional enumeration or some SQL injections. At the end, the bug was found. However, the way it works is completely different. So Claude did not show me how to perform exploitation of it. And so what really bothered me that I didn't see any proof of concept at all. So I have to ask and come up with some additional questions, and then at the end I was given some cheat sheet, which is not really helpful. And at the end, Claude Haiku created for me a proof of concept Python script, which did not run and did not work. So yes, the vulnerability was found, but of course it was not able to exploit it. So I was using Burp MCP with Claude. I was not using Claude code itself. So this gives us some pretty bad results in that situation with the guardrails, of course. If you don't see any guardrails, then probably you should be fine. But in my case, of course, the Python script that Claude created for me was not useful because I was using the Burp MCP. So there's no way that this thing can run through the Burp. And at this point it was pretty useless. But previously, Claude showed some great results. Claude Opus. And the main question, so can AI actually hack for you? And the answer is simply no. Reality is kind of different. These two tools might not be the best, but it is what it is, and I showed you both running. Burp AI will do the work, but it burned through my tokens, and it cost me $5 for a couple endpoints on a local network. And all because it double-checked itself and wanted to make sure everything's true. Claude was cheaper, but then its own safety filters started showing up, and exploitation was not even a thing. I was only able to downgrade and proceed with Claude Haiku. Both found the vulnerability, but neither one exactly gave me the proof of concept with a finished result. So for now, it kind of gives you the direction you should follow, and then you can play with it and kind of navigate through that, but it's not going to do everything for you unless you have unlimited time and tokens. For now, the AI kind of shows you the direction, and then you can exploit it with third-party tools or on your own.